welcome. We're excited to have you here. I'm excited to have my dear friend Shelley on with me again on this webinar. We are going to be talking about New Agent 365 and everything that's happening with that, and just talking about what new agents, like best practices for new agents, and just for anyone really. It doesn't have to be just for new agents. I mean, everyone should be doing a lot of these things throughout your career that we're going to be talking about today. So I'm excited for this conversation. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we will answer those as they come in. And
also accepting jokes, if you have a good one. I have a tour I have to do after this, and usually I come up with several jokes throughout. So the worse they are, the better. So hit me with them. I can use it as content later.
That's awesome. I love, and if you guys don't follow Shelley on Instagram, she has some, and Facebook, you do some fun posts. And
I'm just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I prefer to use those as reasons for us all to laugh when things are hard, you know?
Yeah. Which
it's
is
reprieve.
It is. And we all need that in our life. So, so yes, if you guys have any questions for us, please start posting those in the Q&A and in the chat, and we'll get to those. But for right now, Shelley, if you can tell everyone, first of all, you're with Dwell, and you've started, you wrote a book, if you guys aren't familiar, your first 365 days in real estate. I don't know if that, you can see that. And then you also started New Agent. Do you call it New Agent 365 or is it NA 365?
NA 365 usually, okay. But I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm not married to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to tell everyone a little bit about what that is, and we'll kind of kick it off from there.
Cool. My background is in broadcasting. I was in radio broadcasting for 15 years in Canada. And then my personal life brought me down to the United States. I ended up in Portland, and I decided that I was going to start this referral business in real estate. And the book is just a bunch of stories about how that went. And I tried to be really honest, and I wrote it from a very empathetic place because I felt like, there's not a lot of times that I was hearing, like when I was first starting out, exactly like what it's like to be a real estate agent, but also to start up a business in real estate. It's actually extremely competitive. Chris, it's called Your First 365 Days in Real Estate. We just passed 10,000 copies in 18 months, which is kind of remarkable. And
that is awesome.
So from there, like it's important to know that I've only been in business for 5 years. So what I am constantly thinking about is how I can help other people achieve the success that I've been able to achieve in a way that also marries with the things that they value in life, So starting a referral business with relationships in mind and just helping people in a way that's meaningful and valuable has been my entire focus since I launched the book. And what happened after that was a whole bunch of new agents who read the book started to get in touch with me. And they were like, thank you for telling me exactly how this is going to be, because it's not easy. And can you give me more information about how I can learn more about starting up a business? And I got looking around and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything that was really, really basic, that if you belong to another brokerage and you were going to add marketing and all these other assets to your business, but just the basics, like how do you deal with finance? How do you deal with like niche marketing? How do you deal with your first buyer? How do you do an intake? How do you talk to a seller? What should you do for prospecting? How do you do gift giving? Like just the basic stuff. So I got with a whole bunch of friends. Eleni, you were one of them. And I asked them, how could we build something that could help new agents and brokerages train the basics of business? Because I read the statistic on NAR that said 86% of agents didn't have any understanding of finance, sales, business, retail, right? So like, how can we start them off to be successful right off the bat? So we found 12 trainers. Eleni, you do CRM in week 2. Whoop, whoop.
Yes.
And it's awesome. And the whole thing is 12 weeks. It's $100 to get in, and it's not self-guided. Please know that. And what we do is we challenge new agents to finish a mission every single week. And by the end of those 12 weeks, they'll hold in their hand their business blueprint for relationship sales. We don't talk about purchasing any sort of leads, and who they're going to serve and why they're even in business, because we all know that the why is one of the most important things. It's the things that help you get through the tough times in this business, right? So it's called New Agent 365 Missions. If you go to newagent365.com, has all the information there. Our next startup for that is March 29th. So
yeah, and we'll post post about that in the chat and also on the Facebook community, so everyone can take advantage of that. And
thank you kindly.
Yeah, I mean, and I was so thrilled to be a part of it. So like Shelley mentioned, I taught week 2 database. I know the first week, maybe you want to tell them a little bit about the first week and why you position things in the weeks that you positioned.
Right. So I spent a lot of time when I was designing it thinking about, okay, when you start a business, you can't do Z before you do D, right? And getting the lineup of the trainers and what they were going to talk about, because each trainer specifically is the best person to train in that area. So I had to make sure that it's like, we constantly are going to build on top of the things that we learn, right? And so week 1 is about mindset, because you can't, until you know what success is for you, you can't decide if you've been successful, right? So the first thing we do is we talk about mindset. We talk about success. We talk about failure and rejection. All of that's really hard. Mike Rowery does that. The next thing that you do in a business startup is you need to collect all the people that you know and put them in one place, right? So that's where you come in.
Yeah.
And the CRM is the best way to do that. Obviously, we all know that. And then you talk about tagging. Do you want to give like kind of a hint of what that looks like in the program?
Yeah, because I know a lot of new agents and just even agents in general are always, we're getting that question here quite a bit, is like, how do I grow my database? How do I add to it? It's like, add everybody that you know. It doesn't matter if they're childhood friends or family or people that you know from church or some other group or organization, just add everyone. So that's what we always tell everyone here, is just, there's no additional cost through Wise Agent for adding more people. So, so do it, fill it up. But then now you have people in here. How does you have to organize it in a way that makes sense to you? So I'm going to share my screen here so we can talk a little bit about what that means. So if I go to our contact list within, I gotta put on my glasses so I can read everything on the screen here.
They look great. They look spectacular.
So if you're going through you're adding people in here, and in this account, this is a demo account, I have 678 people, which that is even, even 300 people, it can be a daunting number where you're like, I can't talk to 300 people in one day, let alone even in 1 week. You need some time to filter through them and focus on who you need to focus on. So what I always tell everyone is, whatever you're going to do, make sure that you fill in all of the information that you can. I think this is hilarious, Susie Homemaker. Fill in all the information that you can. I'm going to go to our new contact summary page. So if you guys aren't familiar, we've got this new contact summary page coming out. It's actually going to be in production on Monday. So I'm stealing my marketing team's thunder. They're doing an announcement, I think today or tomorrow, about that. But so really you want to go in here and just, rank people. You know who Susie is, so go ahead and rank her. Put in the status, like, have you contacted this person? Is this a future opportunity that, maybe it's somebody that lives in your neighborhood that you may possibly be selling their house soon. And some of these things are just really nice for you to just see. You can't really update the number of calls. That'll just be based on what you're doing, the activity that you're doing within the CRM. But then there's the categories here. So let me clean some of this up here. So, maybe that they're into gardening, and maybe they're, in your neighborhood. So they're a neighbor. You want to just tag them with things that make sense, maybe a possible buyer or seller. Let's make this one a seller. So this is a future opportunity, someone in your neighborhood that's possibly selling. Now you can go into your contact list, and when you're searching for who do I need to call, who do I need to talk to, and then of course the ranking. This is so important. I know we talk about this a lot in week 2 of New Agent 365 is ranking and making sure that you're setting this up in a way where this is going to make sense to you, that the A rankings are going to be the people that you talk to, and you're talking to them, calling them, emailing them, staying in communication with them consistently, right?
Yeah.
Through a
I
consistent
would say too, like, you can't be everything to everyone. So in the categories, I have, top 50, top 20, top 10. So the top 10 are my ambassadors. Those are people that believe in me. Your mom's probably on that list, And then
Right.
you sort of break it out so that if you're looking at your resources, right? Time and money,
Mhm.
who you want to spend the most time on, the people that embrace your brand, that are going to work on word of mouth for you, that are going to refer.
Yeah.
So if you are able to take that category of, top 10, top 20, top 50, and then you're going to do a pop by every quarter, let's say, well, if half of the 10 people like gardening, then obviously this spring you're handing out gardening boxes, right? And it's got something cute on it, and you're not asking for business, just like, I was thinking about you. I know this matters to you. It matters to me. Because you can't be somebody's like realtor for life unless you're actually in their life and participating. And that's a good way to do that.
Exactly.
It on your CRM, because you need to spread out your resources, right? So, if you've already maybe gifted one person that quarter, but you're going to do like 2 different categories, maybe you don't want to be double hitting. So it's a good way to make sure that who's getting your attention are the people that are going to maximize, your business.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's relationship building. So
Absolutely.
build that relationship. What does that mean? I would suggest that you even kind of write down what that means to you. What does it mean to build a relationship? How do you do that? And for everyone, it's slightly different. And for every person that it'll be slightly different. So you'll know that, for maybe Andy, I need to, Andy's not a talker. He doesn't like getting phone calls. He's a texter. So, just make note of that and know that. And April, she's a talker. I'm a talker too. And so, you want to know that this is the person that you're going to be calling, and you're going to be talking to them. So organize them in a way that makes sense for you, but also what makes sense for them as individuals, because they're your clients, and you want to make sure these are people that are going to be making a difference in your life one way or another.
Right.
Either through going through a transaction with you or not.
Right.
And so you need to factor them in and factor in their personalities and their everything. So if it's someone that kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies, and you're like, I don't know if I want to deal with them, well, then make a note of that. And, kind of, you don't have to always be around them and be talking to them.
You can use it as a referral. Take
Yeah.
20% and
For sure.
use that as a referral.
For
The
sure.
other thing too is that everything that you do should be providing value in somebody's life, right? Like those gifts, that gardening is a conversation in the future. It's a drop off, and when they get in touch with you, it's a conversation, either by text, like you said, or by phone. It's like, thank you so much for that gift. And then from you, it's like, hey, how are things going? And once you start that sort of conversation, that's where relationships are really built. It's in the one-on-one. And in Oregon, we're shut down right now. So the belly to bellies, the dinners, those things is where you should be headed to try and build one-on-one relationships is to meet them one-on-one. So right now I'm doing a lot of Zooms and stuff like that, but eventually they're going to open up Oregon and I'm going to be back to having like this amazing coffee high all the time.
With the fabulous donuts in Portland.
Well, see, you got to go easy, otherwise your pants don't fit.
That's true. But your CRM should be the place, right, where you are organizing everything and you're having those conversations. And then there's other tools in here that are going to help kind of fill in the those spaces of, you know, the in between the phone calls and the text messages that are individual and personalized, where you can start using your marketing and your drip campaigns and setting this up. I think setting this up where one of your first campaigns, either as a new agent or if you're even a veteran agent, that you should have in your database, you should have a program that is about you. You should have one that's, you know, talks just about what you do as an agent, as a realtor, the value that you bring, the knowledge that you have. This is going to be kind of like your resume that you're sending out. Have a video. Video is huge in you know, helping build the relationships, because they get to hear your voice and see your face, and they look at your background and see what, you know, they get an insight into your life and who you are, right? Shelley, do you agree with that?
Yeah. See, this is who I am right here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the war room. No, but I agree 100%. And I think that a lot of questions coming from new agents right now, normally we would say, you need to get one-on-one. That means you need to do open houses, right? Because you need to create opportunity until you can like really get your database going. And I'll say, like I talk about in the book, that I moved to Portland, I knew 4 people and I started my business knowing 4 people, but I wanted a referral business. So your database was everything. So I did a ton of open houses at the beginning, but it was really right now, I'm 100% referral agent, you know, and I closed close to 15 million by myself. Like it's totally doable, but it takes consistency of constantly getting in touch with people. So I would say when a new agent right now asks you, what should I do if I can't get face-to-face in an open house, is they really need to start spending time on social media providing value. And I just got off of the Inman Connect conference, and all they did was talk about video, because how do we show ourselves, show our disposition, show what we care about, unless we actually put it out there? And it's terrifying, right? Because what if everyone likes to be liked?
Yeah.
Lots of people don't like me. It's fine. But there are lots of people that like I resonate with, because I'm a joker. I like to have fun, but I like to have fun. And also I really want to help you with the biggest thing that you're going to do in life financially. Right. So I just started this 3 things you need to know. And I got with my lender, took some convincing to get her to do it. She was like, I just don't. I'm like, we're going to do it. And Instagram TV has a 10-minute max, right? So it's 3 things you need to know within 10 minutes. And we kind of blow through a topic. So we've done, how do you save for a down payment? What do buyers really need to know? I just finished with the top 3 things you need to know when you list your house this spring. Because right now, every single agent is trying to shake the inventory tree because we don't have enough inventory, right? So how do we get out there by providing value and information that the average client doesn't know? Like, yeah, they can go onto Zillow. Yeah, they can go onto Redfin and they can get an idea of what the market is doing. But really, we have all of the tools. Like RPR is an amazing resource. Stephanie Chumbley just spent some time with me explaining that. If you have been onto RPR, it's awesome. They do neighborhood stats. I was kind of blown away. I was like, I didn't know anything about this.
So they do CMAs and all sorts of things that you can pull in, and just pulling in any data and just informing and educating. I mean, anything that you do, and a lot of you that have been on this webinar series know that I'm not a realtor. I've never been, but it doesn't matter what you're kind of doing. Everything that you do should be providing education. That's what this webinar is about, and all of the webinars that we do. It's about providing education for everyone that's that you can, because those are the people that you're touching, and they should be well informed, and you should be providing that information, because then they'll come back to you because you're the expert, and go through the process of buying or selling a home with you.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
here you have this video, right? And it's going to be on Instagram. I put it on my Facebook. But then in Wise Agent, I can put it in as one of my newsletters if I want to, because people, they don't really want to read. So if you have this like really long text thing, they're probably not going to read it. But they'll watch a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's 2 minutes and it's the top 3 things they need to know about listing a home, if they're at all maybe kicking the tires about this, they're going to watch it. Right. And put in there, it's 2 minutes. So they know it's not a huge time investment for them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great tip. I think that it's something that, setting everything up for success. So when, a lot of people are pressed for time and pressed for whatever resources that that they have time and their money, especially in this kind of economy that most markets are experiencing right now, where there is very low inventory, if you can provide them the education that they would need, like, hey, it looks like you purchased your home for this much and now you can get this much, or prices in this neighborhood are going up this percent,
Right. Yeah.
over the last 6 months, a year, whatever it is. Provide that education. That's going to start getting them to think, oh, okay, well, this is where my wealth is. This is how you build wealth. Is a lot of it is through real estate, is where most people build their wealth, and provide that information so then they can make a very well informed and educated decision on selling their property.
Yeah, I heard once someone said, I can't remember who, and I'm sorry. They said, a confused mind always says no.
Yeah.
So if you're providing value and you're empowering people with knowledge and they feel confident, because really most people make moves when they feel confident, right? So if you're the one that's like, I'm going to provide that for you and that value, and provide you with a confidence and be your guide and make sure that you get to the place you're going to go. And if you leave all that behind in your marketing, people are going to call you. It's a trust thing. You've overcome it. I will say quickly too, if you want to know about video or social media, Katie Lance is a really good person to follow, and Christy Keneally. Most of the things I learned about video are from those two. So shout out to them and go check out what they do, because they're great teachers.
Yeah. You were talking about, giving people, we were talking about giving them value on things. One of the things I wanted to share with everyone is our landing pages. If you're not utilizing our landing pages, this is really something that you're missing out on. You need to be using landing pages in conjunction with our lead rules. So let me go to this other tab and show you how this can work together. So from our landing pages, you can put in like a home valuation. This is the perfect time. Like if you're looking for people to sell their home, have them, fill out a home valuation, landing page. This one's a little bit less information on there, but you can always get more, add more information in here. But basically have them fill out a form that will say, enter in their property address, their email address, and then, post this on your social media, put this out in a text or in an email campaign that you have going on. And then set up your rules where, which one should I do? We'll do this one. Set up your rules where you can respond to them automatically, right, with an email, and you can provide like their either a video response. You can include a cloud CMA, which is something that you may be already paying for through your MLS, so you'll want to look into that. And this is a little bit different than RPRs, CMAs, where they don't, unlike RPRs, they don't give, the cloud CMA does not give a dollar amount. They'll give you what the neighborhood is doing and what's happening in the market, but they won't give you a dollar amount for that specific property that you send the CMA to. And what that does is that kind of that's an enticement for the person that's potentially selling or filling out this form to call you, so then you can talk about the actual price. But then you can also have content in here, so you can create and I know our marketing team is going to be creating some more templates on our landing pages that you guys can be using, where you can have like a lead magnet where, and I think this is gonna be coming out in the next couple of days, where you create a landing page where you're asking questions like, hey, are you looking to sell? What, here's the 10 tips, like you were saying, the 3 tips in 2 minutes. You can make this into a landing page and then use your content here. You can create it through, and we have some lead magnets here where you could, 5 mistakes that sellers make. And so now you can put this in here into the email, and this is where you're giving them that information, you're providing them information. So we'll be adding some more content for you all to be using in the next couple of days, for you to be using in this way, so you can capture more people. Because I think that's a really big thing right now, with a lot of agents are looking for new clients and new sellers, right?
Yeah, like how do you get in front of them right now?
Mhm.
Yeah. And I was talking to Molly McKinley, and I think she said it was, the person needs to see from you 21 times before they act.
Yeah.
So if you think that it's too much, it's not. It's not. If you think you're being annoying, you're not, because chances are, if they see the video but maybe didn't engage all the way, and then they got the email and maybe they saw it in your name but maybe not, and then there's a direct mail piece that they got, 10 things you need to know about listing your home, that matches the 3 that you were talking about on video. Like, it's resonating slowly. Marketing isn't if I do A, I get B. It has never been that way. It's a slow, constant connection that you have to make. Someone was asking who the ladies were. It's Katie Lance,
Yeah.
and Christy Keneally was who I was talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that using your CRM, so first of all, if you don't have the tags done, none of this is not going to help you, right? So the first thing you have to do is organize and tag. Then you have to actually have a marketing plan that it is in connection and will have or inspire engagement back to you, because marketing isn't a one-way, communication isn't one way. You're not talking at them. It's I'm going to give you this in hopes that you come back to me so that we can have a conversation, right? Like in the fall, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
In the fall, I was thinking about Oregon's shut down. How do I get in touch with people over the Christmas break, right? And so I decided to do gingerbread houses, and I did gingerbread open house. And then when they got that, they would decorate it with their kids, and then they'd send me a picture, and then I'd put it on Instagram, and I would take other people on a tour of the gingerbread houses. All of that is just so that we are creating community together, right?
I think that's wonderful. And what you said about, people have to see you at least 21 times before they decide what they're going to do. One thing I think that everyone needs to remember too is that if someone's not engaging back with you, then don't be so hung up on that one person. Like, oh, they unsubscribed and now I have 10 people that have unsubscribed from my emails. It's fine. Move on. They've like excluded themselves. And so now you need to just look at the other people that are there. Don't be so hung up on those 10 people that have unsubscribed. They've weeded themselves out for whatever reason. And it's okay. It might not be like, don't take it so personally, but it could be if you're finding that there's a ton of people that are unsubscribing, it's probably because you haven't tagged them properly. It could be that your message isn't appropriate for them. Right. So you want to make sure that the messaging is appropriate. And that's when those tags come into play is because that is really uber important to make sure that you're giving them the right message so they're not unsubscribing. You're giving them value so they're not like, well, what does this mean? I don't know what steps to take. You need to have a clear message of what the next steps are, like, something that's like, here, click here to fill some time on my calendar. Let's do a Zoom, or let's, let's talk, or whatever it is. Make sure you have that clear messaging there so that people know what to do next. If they don't know what to do next, if you don't have a call to action, you might get those unsubscribes.
Yeah. Like if all you're sending out is proof of success, I'm the best agent, I sold a house, or I made this much money, or like there's a lot of that going on, because at the end of the year, everybody gets their numbers and they're like, I'm a gazillionaire or I'm not.
Yeah.
Your client doesn't actually care.
Right.
What they care about is how you're going to help them get what they need. Right.
Yeah.
So your messaging, you can do proof of success, that you sold a house or whatever, but it should be sprinkled in with, this is the value that I provide in my life.
Exactly.
In your life.
Right. Exactly. And then give them an easy way to get in touch with you, and make sure that you're doing it in a way where it's clear what that next step would be. So, in all of our emails, there's the call to action button. There's, your branding is so important. Stay within your brand. Stay within your brand, and make sure that your branding has, it is laws in most states. It's a state law to make sure that you have your address in there, your phone number. We require you to have your email in there, so you have to. There's some things that are just laws and some things that are just good practices. Make sure you know what the difference between the two of them are, and make sure you do them. So that's really important, to make sure that you have that consistency in your brand as well. So it's okay if you are more informal. You don't have to be always so formal and stuffy.
That'd be me.
And make sure that comes across, because if in reality, when you're like informal about things and you're joking around and having fun, your email should be, and your messaging should be consistent with that. It shouldn't be, so formal and stuffy. Make sure your voice is throughout, like weaved into everything that you do in your text messages and your email marketing, everything.
I think a tip to do that, and again, I used to work in radio, and I worked on branding for radio stations. And so I would have different brands I'd work on. I'd work on a pop radio station, I'd work on a rock radio station, and maybe like a AAA, which is like dudes with guitars, just soft singing, and it's kind of sad. So all of those radio stations had different voices and personas, right? So what I would do is I would reduce their brand to 3 words as identifying words of who they are. So like the rock station would be edgy, kind of fun, but they would like sometimes be inappropriate. So if I was writing something that was too like soft and like for a mother in a van, like it didn't pass the test and it didn't go on air, right?
Yeah.
So reducing, I know it sounds bad, but reducing what your value is, or what your voice should sound like, or your image or persona, to 3 words, and then putting everything through that filter. And if it doesn't work, don't send it out, right? Like for instance, for my business, it's support, guidance, and fun. And if I'm being too serious, sometimes I can be, I back it off a little bit. Or if I'm invoking a fear message, I'm like, no, that's not my brand. That doesn't fit with what I do. I'm full of support and guidance. I'm not going to send that out. Does that make sense?
For sure. I think that makes sense. And, I think a lot of times that's forgotten sometimes, that, we get into, we do here at Wise Agent, we do provide a lot of content for you all, which, you should be taking advantage of, but you should definitely be going in there and making sure that you edit it and tweak it. It does need to sound like you. It shouldn't sound like the person that wrote it. We try and make it as general as possible, but sprinkle in your personality into all of it. If you don't say hello, then, and you say hey to everyone, or what's up. I'm from Chicago. We all say what's up.
I'm going to add that in, see if it works.
And just be like, what's up? What's up, Shelley?
Like
so
that Budweiser commercial.
That's what we do. I'm from the city. That's how we talk. Then put that in there. Put your personality out there. With everything that you do. I read Shelley's book, and your personality is in this book. It's, your Instagram, your social feeds, everything that you're doing on social, on video. It should be about you. If you're the fun personality, you should be out there dancing and doing, you know, the jokes and everything else. If you're more serious and more, I don't know, whatever, stuffier, that's okay. And then stand there and
there
do
is a
your thing.
person for you that wants to hire that agent.
Right.
And then there's another group of people that want guidance, but they don't want it to feel as heavy because maybe they're emotional or whatever. There is enough for everyone. There is a group of people that are just for you.
Yeah. Was it the laws of attraction, right? And so you've got to put it out there and put yourself out there, who you really are, and be genuine. And it's okay if people don't, you know, some people don't, if don't like you, it's okay. I mean, it's
totally
fine.
fine. Yeah.
It's totally fine. Find the people that do, and that's your group of people.
And your day is going to be great because you're going to be spending time in a car with people that you like hanging out with, right?
Exactly.
And the better you will perform if you feel good about it, right?
Yeah, because you won't feel that anxiety of, ooh, if I say this, they're gonna take it the wrong way. But if they know, if they already know that you joke around a lot, you know, then they're not gonna take it the wrong way. Even on our Shelley and I were emailing yesterday about this prep call, and what did you tell me that you could talk about? What was it? The rock station, it was something about music. And you're like, oh, I could go on and on
Gangnam
about music.
Style. I was doing a whole bunch of research. I was writing something and I was doing a whole bunch of research on Gangnam Style and how that video, this like random guy from K-pop in South Korea, managed to be the first video that hit 1 billion views in YouTube.
Right.
And I was like, how does that happen, right? So I was like,
and you said you wanted to talk about it on the webinar, and here we are. I helped you do it.
I watched like 8 documentaries about it, and by the end I'm like, I don't know where I am.
Sometimes YouTube is like that. You go down that, you know, they've got those up next and you're like, I don't know how I got on all these cat videos. I was researching something like that was legitimate.
But I'm telling you, if you want to know about the Gangnam Style, I'm your person. I am now, I know the most about it, I'm pretty sure.
So reach out to Shelley if you want to know about that.
Get in touch.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think that goes to something else too. What you're saying is researching, you know, is something that everyone should be doing. I mean, always educating yourself so that you could pass that along, because that's what people are looking at you, especially in real estate and realtors. They're looking for the realtors to be the expert. You know, like, I don't know, should I sell right now? Is this a good time? Like, help me be, you know, you need to be my advisor and help me make this informed decision that I don't live in this world in real estate. I'm just a buyer or a seller. You need to be informing everyone who you're talking to, all of your clients, on how to make those decisions. And so researching, I think, is a huge thing, and making sure that you're getting those classes. And
I think too, if you're a new agent, anecdotes are really important. Like when I'm in a house with somebody and we're talking about, especially because there's no inventory, there's a lot, especially in our market, we're going about 10% or more above list price. So it's really hard for a buyer to wrap their head around, you know, you want me to pay how much above market value? I don't understand. But like the offset with interest rates, like that's just, it's too much, right?
Right.
So using anecdotes or stories, which is why I wrote the book the way I did, using stories to teach people is one of the best ways for people to absorb the feeling of how it's going to feel to overpay for a house, really, because that's what that's what they're defining it as.
Right.
So if you're a new agent and you don't have those stories because you don't have that experience, call up your mentors, call up your visionaries, call up your coach, and just talk about, you know, what could I say that is really easy to explain days on market and months of inventory and all these stats that we have. How's the best way to explain an appraisal that comes in low? Because you can use stories to explain that. Well, in this situation, this is what happened, as opposed to like picking something out of the sky. Right. So if you're a new agent, get in touch with other agents and start talking to them about best practices, the way they explain those things in stories.
Yeah, that's always a great way. I mean, always simplifying it in a term or in a story that people can relate to and can understand easily, just in anything is always, the best route to go. So then you can, get that more, building that relationship more and more.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's all about feelings. People
Yes,
make
it is.
decisions in their hearts and then they make it in their minds. Unless it's an engineer, then it's analytical, then it's heart.
That's me. I do that.
Do you?
Wait a
Noted.
second. I need to know the numbers first before I make any decision. Show me the
See,
numbers
that just
and then,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah. And if
Exactly.
I was selling you a house, I would inundate you with numbers.
And that
first.
would make me happy.
I
Yeah.
know
And
it would.
so, yeah,
You
'cause
would
then I
just
would,
love on it all day
yeah,
long.
I'd be like, oh, okay, I can see this now. And that is,
Right.
it's, it goes back to the relationship thing. So if you didn't know me and you just said, oh, well, this house has, and I do like to cook, this has a fabulous kitchen. Well, that's great. And I do love that. But what is more important to me is like, what does this make sense financially, the numbers and the stats? And I need to know all of that, those facts and figures. And so knowing that about who you're dealing with is the only way you're going to know that is if you're building that relationship and communicating with them
Yeah.
about it.
And I think too, even in the intake, like say that it is somebody that is referred to me from one of my past clients and I don't know them. In the intake meeting, I'm going to be asking them emotional questions and seeing how they react. Because then I'll get a feel of how to best serve them, right? And I think that the other thing that I do that is helpful, and I started doing it the second year, was especially with buyers, where do you spend the most amount of time in your house? That question alone tells you a lot. Well, I'm a huge cook, so I like to bake, and then I'll make a joke about cookies and when I'm going to get some, and we'll keep going. But then that tells me, okay, the kitchen is going to be the most important thing because that's where he or she wants to be.
Right.
And then maybe I'll do a follow-up question of, okay, well, do you need to see the TV while you make me the cookies, or are we good with it? Kind of, because we have a lot of old homes around here, right? And they're like, okay, well, I do actually like an open concept, but I want a craftsman house. Well, a 1930s house here is really chopped up. That means we need a remodel. So then I can already start to best advise them and say, look, 90% of the houses that are going to come on the market are not going to have your floor plan. So you need to be patient, and that manages expectations.
Yeah. That's great. That's a big one too, is managing people's expectations, especially in what you all do every day, because it can be out of control. I mean, buyers and sellers can have these, like, what are you talking about? I don't want to pay, 10% over, what I feel is the right price,
Right.
So making sure that everyone has their expectations in check is a big thing. And being able to do that when you don't know somebody can be very difficult, how to.
That I really lean on statistics if that's true.
Yeah.
Especially if I get somebody who they're, in their mind, they're like, okay, I really want to deal in this market. There aren't any. So what I'll do is while I'm on Zoom with them, I'll pull up my screen, I'll pull up a report of the neighborhood that they're looking in, and I will show them how much the percentage over on average for that area, so that they're like, oh, she's not just saying that because she wants more money. They're like, she really is telling me what is happening, because you can't argue a stat, right? You just have to explain it, and don't like you don't need a ton of stats. You just need one or two. It's like, you're actually not going to see a deal here.
Yeah.
And then let them, sit on it and decide what they want to do. Maybe it's not their time to buy. Maybe it is, if they can understand why it's important to do it right now,
Right. Well, that's all great tips. And I know if you guys have I know there's some questions about, there's a question here in the chat that was, why can't I see the chat anymore? Here it is. So Shelley, do you find RPR CMAs to be accurate?
I think that anything digital is designed to help you with the overall idea of what that house is doing, but technology cannot replace a human. You have to do your own analysis. It's a great way to, you can go and pick the comps that you want and put it into RPR and build the report out, like if you like the way it looks. But no, I never lean on anything that's digital. Your value in the fact is that homes in that area, and a comp that doesn't have the same condition that you've been in and it's on that list, you know, that's not, you need to remove it. So the soft answer is no.
Yeah.
There's
And
long ways around that, but it's a great program. I mean,
yeah, it is a great program. I do know a lot of people that use it, and you know, we have an integration with Cloud CMA, and that's one of the things. And they have, you know, WR Studios is the parent company. Well, I guess now Lone Wolf Technologies is now the parent company. But what I like about Cloud CMA is they don't have that dollar amount, so then you can kind of plug it in for them for that basis. So
the other thing I like about Cloud CMA is they do a plotting analysis. So you chose all your comps, right? And then they'll put it in a graph. So like this one sold here, this one sold here. And then where are you pricing on the line with the house that you're working on? And if it's like way off, it really gives a good visual for your seller that, okay, well, we need to be on this line. So you want to price way up here. But if you look at this line, you're just going to sit on the market, right? It's just a really good way to explain.
Yeah, it is. Another question is, I think this one's more directed for me, but it says, I heard that when you put contacts in the system, I'm assuming Wise Agent, when they become a broker's property, is that true? So, so no. So when Wise Agent, if you are purchasing your license from Wise Agent, those contacts are all yours. They don't belong to your broker. So unfortunately, you know, there are some brokerages that have their proprietary CRM and their database. And when you do stay with, you know, when you use that product and you choose to leave, you have to always read your contracts and your agreements. I mean, you guys are in real estate, you guys deal with contracts all day long. Read your user agreements with the CRM. These contacts are all yours. They belong to you. They're not ours.
That's where your future business is. Don't give it away to anybody.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good comment.
Yeah. And then, I mean, and with that, it can be very dicey. I mean, we've had, you know, I've talked to people that are like, you know, I had it in my brokerage and now I'm locked out of it. You know, I left the company and now I can't get my database out. And I'm like, that really sucks. You know, and that can happen. And so with Wise Agent, these are your contacts and, you know, you have the rights to them. So those are, so that is something
with your life.
Exactly. I mean, it's your business. It is. It's your whole entire business. So
if you want a referral business, don't give that away to anybody.
Yeah. And so someone was also mentioning that they like Cloud Suite, CMA, and MLS and Stream. I love Cloud Streams. Cloud Streams. That's how we bought our house. My husband and I. Cloud Streams is. I can't say enough about that because that was. You know, and I don't know if now in the market the way it is now, because there are no deals. There are no deals out there.
Across the nation.
Across the nation, yeah. And so, but yeah, a few years ago when there were, that was a good thing. So, and they were asking, so if Cloud Streams and Cloud CMA, if that is an extra charge. So there is, if you're using any of the Cloud Suite products, the CMA or the Streams through Wise Agent, you have to pay for that. Or if it's included in your MLS, then it's part of your MLS dues, but that is an additional service. So yes, someone's saying it's included in their CR MLS. So perfect. Yeah, nice. It's in different markets.
Manny, lucky.
Yeah. So yes, and then people are asking if this webinar will be saved somewhere so we can access it later for the information. Absolutely. So we are live on Facebook. Oh shoot, I've ignored Facebook. I tend to do that sometimes. Oh, and the sound is still on. So I have to update it and I don't see comments right now. So sorry if someone did comment there, but it'll be in our community. And then you'll also get a copy of this recording later on today in your email. And then we'll also post it on YouTube. So we put it on all our different channels. That's something that you guys should also be doing, is that if you've got a video, post it. If it's a great video and you're getting great feedback from it, put it in your YouTube library, put it in your Instagram, and put it on your Facebook, put it, you know, wherever you can. So
yeah.
That's
You
something.
can get in touch with me too. I'm on Instagram. It's ssavvy.
Yeah.
I'll answer anything I can.
Yes.
And
Perfect.
also join us on newagent365.com.
Yeah. Yes.
There's tons of blogs and stuff. Most of them are not serious, so just know that.
If you don't like to laugh,
I hate
then
it.
don't.
I hate
If you
having
don't like
fun in
laughing,
life.
then don't join, right? Yeah. But if you like to laugh and have a good time and learn and laugh at the same time,
I'm your person.
yes. Definitely. And I know they're asking who was it that they should follow regarding videos. So that's Katie Lance and let me see if I can.
Christy Kennedy.
Christy.
Oh, and Marky I just caught her on Inman. I don't know her last name. She did 20 ways to repurpose your video.
Yeah.
In like 20 minutes. And I was just like, my hand got, it was so much pain. I was just like, I couldn't keep up with the amount of information that she gave. I'll try and find her last name, but her first name is Marky. Oh, yes.
Marky Lemons. Yeah.
Yes.
And
amazing.
so Marky and Jeremiah J-Man, who I had on the webinar in December, they are doing with, I want to say her name is Coco Christie. Shoot, I can't remember her name. The third person. They are doing kind of a podcast or a podcast / webinar series. Wise Agent is a sponsor for them, and they're talking all about video and video content and a bunch of really good educational stuff. So that's something that you guys can look forward to as well. I think we have
Just
a post
do
about
it,
that.
you know, if you're afraid, we all are. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're among the rest of us. We're just faking it. So
Yeah.
come along, friend.
and really with video, the way I see it is that if you're going to try, if you just start doing a video like today, this is going to be your first video, know that it's probably not going to be as good as your second one and your third one and your 15th one. You will be improving. The more you do it, the better you will be. So your first one is not going to be that great, and that's okay. Just get over it, do it. But the point is just do it. Just do it. And
you don't need to watch it again. Just put it up and walk away.
Exactly. Because you have to just do it. Yeah. And then by the time you get to, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, depending on everyone's personality and style and whatnot, you'll get better at it. I mean, lighting is huge, and we'll, you know, and I think we did a video about that. I think we did a webinar about that, I think with J-Man. So, you know, all these things that come into play, research it, ask questions, you know, feel free to post about it in our community, and we can chime in with some answers on that. But yeah, do video, just keep at it. Don't give up on it, because it is really important to do. Do you recommend doing videos if you have the radio face, is what someone is asking.
Yes, still do it.
Yeah,
they need to hear from you, you know. And besides, the people that are in your database, they know what you look like already.
Yeah.
So stop hiding from them.
Exactly. So yes, and I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, and it's not working for me, but it looks like somebody was already, Marky Lemon. Okay, because I'm like, what did they say? And Carrie Little. Yes, Marky Lemon, Carrie Little, and Jeremiah J-Man Monero are all doing a webinar series.
Great.
That is fabulous too. So look out for that. I so appreciate you, Shelley. I love talking to you and chatting with you. And thank you so much for being on here. And thank you everyone for being on as well.